Nation's number one DJ, DJ Rockwell.
Yo, this is Apocalypse, the lyrical warner, hip-hop revelator. And you rockin' with the nation's number one DJ, DJ Rockwell, you understand me?
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the house. This is your brother, DJ Rockwell, the nation's number one DJ. What an honor to be back with you. What an honor to be back with you. Let's get all our stuff in order here. We got a little backbeat. We got the banner up, and most of importance, we have you. This is your brother, DJ Rockwell, and I'm so happy to be here once again on this program, our program called the Rockwell Radio Show. We need everybody to do the most important part, is follow the 3 steps of the Rockwell Radio Show, which are like and share, and tag somebody. You certainly want to do that. And regardless of which program or which platform you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notification as well. So when we're live, you're live with us. Again, this is Brother Vaughn, aka DJ Rockwell. We're right here in Atlanta, and I'm so happy to say that, man, Big Dave, I think now we can say for certainty, for absolute surety, we've been here 4 years now. Whoa, time is flying. We've been on the air 4 years, coming up at the end of this month. And I'm so happy that we have found a purpose, a place, and hopefully a place of importance among the people, that they keep coming back. So again, we need everybody to share the show, because it's going to be an interesting topic tonight. Where do I even begin with sizing up where we're going with this? Because if you were on my page earlier this evening, maybe about an hour or so ago, you saw me do a quick live, and I never do lives. I rarely do a live, but I wanted to get in advance, to give a sneak peek, if you will, about what the show was going to be about. And I talked about fear. I talked about hesitancy. And I even gave a personal testimony, telling my own story about the hesitancy and the fear of commitment. And you know, it hurts so much when we the FOI, we're talking about fear. The FOI ain't scared of nothing, right? Come on now, not the brothers. Nah. Afraid, forget about it. Nah, not us, Big Dave. You know, and as you come in the room, let me know what city you're watching from. Y'all do a check-in. We want to do a check-in. No matter where you're looking at, from coast to coast, in the country, out of the country, please let us know where you're viewing the Rockwell Radio Show from. And again, we want to make sure everybody follows the 3 steps. Go ahead, do it. Hit that like, hit that share, tag somebody, and let them know that you're also a subscriber of the Rockwell Radio Show. We love you and we appreciate you. We sure do. So, matter of fact, for all the subscribers that come in the room, I want to shout you out if you are a subscriber. So when you come in, just say me. And I want to definitely shout you out as you come in the room. Me, subscriber team. Dave, so as you see the me's on the couch, come on now. Sister TJ in the building, definitely a subscriber. That's family, talking about family. That's it. Also view them every Thursday, and I'm talking about nothing but the truth every Thursday. Brother Keith James, this is applause for you. We appreciate you. View them every Thursday, right, on their YouTube channel, Nothing But the Truth. So what I need everybody to tag a single brother. I need everybody to tag a single sister. Coming on later in the show is a whole nother gear we're going to go into. But I need everybody to tag, in particular, I want to talk to single people. And you know, Big Dave, sometimes people don't want to cop to the fact of being single like it's some sort of tragedy. You know, we all come into this world single, you know, but we do what we do. And I'm gonna get into it, and I want to get into the news portion in just a second. But before I do that, Big Dave, I want to tell the people, man, about how we got here. You know, it really got here from a place of frustration, disappointment, damn near pain. Because every year coming and going, our beautiful sisters always are active in planning social events, single social events, doing things that can put men and women of belief in the same room together at the same time. And they do it as a fundraiser, and in a best case scenario, it results in brother seeing a sister that he likes, or a sister seeing a brother that she think is, you know, so and so. Because the idea of the nation, don't ever get it twisted, is building families. No nation stands without the backbone of families. So we are highly, highly, highly invested, highly interested in our sisters meeting our brothers and our brothers meeting sisters to begin to build families. But what if the brothers ain't coming to these events? What if the brothers be like, nah, I'm good? Is that a fear factor? And y'all know. Y'all saying, ain't this show about hip hop, Vaughn? This is a hip hop centered show. Why are you having this discussion? And I said it on the live this evening. I said this. I was thinking about that Mobb Deep joint, Dave. Mobb Deep got that joint called Shook Ones. Is it possible that us, some of us, not all, could be a part of the Shook Ones? How could that be? How could that be? Remember when Prodigy and Havoc said these words?
Scared to death and scared to look, they shook.
That can't be us. No. We can't be
Scared to death and scared to look, they shook.
up at the thought of marriage. We should be running at that. But now, Dave, I want to go ahead and get into the slideshow. And this is the result. This is the result of what happens when we hesitate. Did you know that in 2021, 28.6% of Black women were married compared to 34.4% of Black men? This is lower than the marriage rate for white women, which was 52.4% in 2021. Look at this. Now, the percentage of Black women who have never been married has more than doubled in the last 50 years, from just over 20% in the 1970s to now almost half today. What does that say? What is the unspoken message of that? What does that say about the institution of marriage, and what degree of importance it holds to us? So tonight, I've got some guests that are going to be here to talk about that. But I'm going to start with a brother who I love to life. If you live here in Atlanta, you know him. If you live here in College Park, you know him. Our brother was born on the island of Dominica. Dave, we've been saying it wrong. Raised in St. Thomas, our brother joined the great Nation of Islam in 1997 in the city of Fort Lauderdale at Muhammad Mosque number 82. He served as the student minister in that same mosque from 2000 to 2006. Our brother also has served in the capacity of a regional captain in that same region from the year of 2015 to 2017. And as we speak, when he moved to Atlanta, he did not stop his pattern of service. Our brother is still in the fight right now, currently serving as the student minister of Muhammad Ma's 15B right here in College Park. Please welcome for the first time to the Rockwell Radio Show, my brother and yours, student minister Desmond Muhammad. Big brother Des.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, dear brother. Glad to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dear brother, did I get any of my facts wrong? Did I pronounce Dominica right?
Yes, sir, you did. other than throwing Brother Dave under the bus.
So, brother, as I tend to do with all of my guests, I afford them the opportunity to make any introductory statements, and I will do so at this point. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, first, thank you to you and your staff for having me on the show. I'm grateful to you and your staff for the opportunity to discuss marriage. Certainly, we always begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, bearing witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. And I would be remiss in my duties if I did not acknowledge that I'm here by the permission of our student regional minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan here in the Southern region and the Nation of Islam, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
And so we also have to recognize our student regional MGT captain, Sister Nuseba Muhammad, and her staff for this great and august event that will serve as a medium to put brothers and sisters in the same room, that we may get an opportunity to meet and greet, and that the natural inclination towards marriage can begin. And so we hope, to promote this event, that we may come out with the right spirit, the right language, which is extremely important, and
Yes,
the right idea
to
become married. So thank you for the opportunity. Assalamu alaikum.
Brother Wa alaikum salam. Again, glad to have you here on the Rockwell Radio Show, Big Brother Des. If you have not heard our brother, you are certainly welcome. And I'm going to invite you while he's here. I'm going to invite you to come hear him at Muhammad Ma's 15B. Please tell them where they can hear you give the word every Sunday, dear brother.
And that's 3638, that's Campbellton Road, Southwest Atlanta. 3638 Campbellton Road, Southwest Atlanta. That's at the Ark. And
Now,
that begins
let's get down to business.
Yes, sir.
What did you think of those facts that I presented? Let's start there. What in my opening monologue, I shared some information about the status of our women as it relates to the statistics of marriage. What were your thoughts on those?
Well, obviously, the ship is sinking, the marital ship, and we should never be in charge of declining affairs.
That part.
And it's really tremendous when you look at the numbers and the sharp decline from having a man, woman in holy matrimony as the nucleus of the Black family and the Black community, to now homes being headed by, in particularly, single mothers. The culture has changed, obviously. The question is, when did the culture change, and what changed the culture? Many of us brag about our culture, but culture really is the result of an inoculation or an education process. And so cultures shift, especially during the Renaissance period, where art, music, the aesthetics are used to promote and to cultivate, because culture itself means to cultivate. And so something happened where the culture of marriage, the culture of holy matrimony, that language changed. And so language, I believe, is the dimension of our thinking. Of course, dimension is length, width, and of course, depth. And so if we don't give marriage much thought, if marriage is not spoken about in a positive light, then the culture of marriage is taking on a negative connotation. And who wants to be married if marriage is perceived as hell or doom or gloom. So those numbers that we saw means that our nation is in trouble, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the nation can rise no higher than its woman. The level that the woman is on is a mirror, symmetric picture of where the nation is. But he also said that there's no such thing as a no good woman. If you find a no good woman, it took a no good man to make her into that. So those numbers are critical, and we have to do something to begin to steer that ship. Lastly, Brother Vaughn, some may say that, well, Brother Desmond, those numbers are not going to change. Well, they change from positive to negative, and so they can certainly change from negative back to positive. But Minister Farrakhan said it's like a big ship on the ocean, and you don't think it can make that turn. But if you go away and come back some hours later, that ship has made that turn. So we can begin the generational shift right now by each one teaching one.
What do you think, Brother Minister Desmond, what lends to this culture change of the perception? Let me rephrase. What do you think feeds this negative perception of the institution of marriage?
Well, first of all, there used to be a time when our greatest advisors used to be home, and then the extension of the home was the church.
Yes, sir.
And a great percentage of that, they did a study, I can't remember the exact numbers, but school was third in line. But now you have a shift where social media now and school is shaping the minds of our people and of our children. So the influence that we had in the home, the influence that we had in the church has now dissipated to the point where it's not impactful on our youth. And so the cultural renaissance that we used to have, like the Harlem Renaissance, where art was used to shift the culture, that now has been changed to a downgraded, low down type of music. I mean, the content, the beats, of course, because I find myself, a little boogie into the beats, but the content, and then Hollywood, and then constant negative portrayal of those of us who are quote unquote stars in our marriages and how we represent marriage to our people is really one that shows lack of civility, if you would. And so that being constantly bombarded at us, then it gives a sense of being unsuccessful in marriage. And of course, habitual failure, I would say, stifles the imaginative process. And so when we see constant failure, then it's hard to imagine ourselves being successful, even in marriage.
Okay, let's get to the meat of this, of the reason why we're here. I want to talk about fear, and particularly on the part of us. You and I have heard, and we talk to our sisters every day coming and going. We hear their cry, we hear their concern, we hear their question. Dang, brother, we keep planning events and planning these social events where we can meet our brothers and have a controlled environment where we can meet people in the best of manners, but they're not coming. They, meaning the brothers, they're not coming. What do you think lends to the brothers' hesitancy to get involved, to go, to sign up? Because what we're getting to is a single social event that's coming in Atlanta that is open to the entire nation. But if the brothers don't come, what do you think leads to the brothers' hesitancy, Brother Daz?
Well, one of the things that plague us is sometimes we suffer from an ailment and we don't think that we're suffering from that ailment. One of the phases of disease processes is that there's a latent phase or a period of latency where you may not be symptomatic, but it doesn't mean that that germ or that disease process is not brewing in the inside. Typically, by the time we experience symptoms, usually it's in a very late stage and very dangerous and critical stage. So it is with us as it relates to what's restricting us. Something is restricting us. We don't have to confess that it's restricting us. It's evidenced by our lack of participation. And so, because of our disconnection from God, because remember, the theme is Allah's coloring, which means God's perspective, the proper view of how to view marriage. If our view of marriage is social media, then we're in trouble. If our view of marriage is through the prayer line and gossip, then we're in big trouble. If our view of marriage is strictly through negative connotations and divorce, then we're in trouble. So why not settle on those who are having happy marriages? Why we seem to settle on the negative aspect of those who have been through divorce? It's because somewhere deep down within, we have our own trepidation. Minister Farrakhan coined this term. He said it's called deceptive intelligence, which rationalizes disobedience to God. And so we deceptively tell ourselves that we have to rationalize in our mind why we're not going. And we actually think that our reason is sufficient for not going, but our reasons are debilitative, because if we say a nation can rise no higher than its woman, and it becomes just a mantra and a ritual, but the immutable principles within those terms and phrases, we have not lived them because fear is restricting us. Many of us have failed so many times, or we've witnessed so many failures. Deep down inside, we don't want to go down that road.
How
The Honorable
about
Minister Louis Farrakhan said, men of this world don't desire righteous women. If we were righteous in our conduct, if we displayed moral rectitude, if we had a strong desire to please God, and if we had a strong desire not to displease God, then we would have a strong desire not to displease each other. And so marriage would be at the forefront of our thinking. So if we say family is everything, but yet we're not inclined, not just to marry, but even going to the functions that promote marriage, then there's something with our coloring, because our language has been restricted. And that's why I define language as the dimension of our thinking. Dimensions here suggest measure. So if we're not, if our measure of our thinking is not inclined to marriage, then what is it inclined to? If there's still a natural inclination from man to woman, that means we're just becoming fornicators and adulterers, and the institution of marriage is dying, not in the church, not in the mosque, but in our minds.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you are tuning to the Rockwell Radio Show. My guest right now is Student Minister Desmond Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque 15B right here in College Park, Georgia. And on the second half coming up, don't go away. You don't want to miss the marriage keepers that are going to be on the second half talking about their event coming up, the 14th annual marriage retreat. And they're also going to weigh in on this subject. Do we have a fear of commitment? Could it be? Now, let me ask you this, brother. We've got a few minutes left in this segment. Is hesitancy ever justified? You talked about a moment ago, brothers, we've been over the hard road. Some have made mistakes. Some have become gun shy. Is there ever a time when that intrepidation might be justifiable?
Well, when we drive with caution. And so we drive with a degree of hesitancy, our speed, our turns, our focus on the road, but it doesn't mean we doesn't drive. We don't drive. We continue to drive. So driving is not halted just because we drive with caution. And so the idea of courtship in the Nation of Islam is intending to be married, but not obligated to. That's a very key point. And so when we enter into courtship, it means that both people have the intention to become married. But through the courtship process, we discover things about each other that may lead us to commitment or to that wedding, or we sever the courtship. But we should even do that in the best of manner, not to mince each other and dice each other up. And so hesitancy is good because we should always proceed with caution. The books say fools rush in where wise men fear to tread. So there should always be a degree of hesitancy. But when you procrastinate 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and for those who live with women for that long and never proposing to her, there's an old saying that why buy the cow if you can have the milk? So something happens when a woman gives herself to a man, that the interest dissipates, the spirit of investigation is stultified, or it slows down, or it's diminished or attenuated. So what happens? It's because premarital sex stifles onward march towards commitment. So the Nation of Islam does not promote premarital sex because it's a major factor in the lack of commitment. But trepidation could be healthy too in the vetting process, but not trepidation in the anchoring process that just anchors you and move towards marriage.
Let's clear some terms, because like I said, this is primarily a hip hop show, and in the culture of hip hop, it's been an anything goes culture up to this very moment. And terms like courtship are as foreign as us trying to speak Chinese right now. Can you explain, because we're going to close this segment in just a moment or two, about the upcoming single social in Atlanta, but can you explain what is, in our culture of the nation, what is courtship, and why should wise people engage in searching for their mate through this particular means?
Well, one of the major difference, which is a good place to start, between dating and courtship is when you date, what's the intention? There is no clear intention. Yeah, I like you. Yeah, like me. Let's get together. Okay, now we go. But going where? In courtship, it's a formal process where the hand of a woman that a man desires is asked for. If the father is alive, then you knock on the father's door and tell him that you're interested in his daughter. You don't crawl through the back window or the back door or jump through the roof. You do the honorable thing by approaching the father about his daughter. If the father is not alive, then the elder brother. In the Nation of Islam, we actually have forms that are filled out where the request is made that, yes, I want to enter into a courtship with you. So if you're not intending to be married, no reason to be in a courtship. You don't want a car that you can't drive. If you buy the car, you want to be able to drive it. And so courtship is that formal process where we use chaperones, where we don't prolong it for years, where we have counseling sessions with the student ministers, and where we don't allow sisters to be dragged on. The process is there to protect both, but in particularly the heart of the woman, because the woman heals differently than the man. And so that courtship process is a formal process where we enter into that way that we intend to become married, but we're vetting each other out. And during that process, we're not allowed to date, quote unquote, anybody else. So there is no, I went to dinner with sister such and such or brother such and such. When we're courting, we're focused on each other because it is pre-commitment to marriage.
I want to slide in two more questions before we go to break.
Yes, sir.
Des, I can hear my guest right now saying, I'm sorry, not guest. I can hear some of my viewers right now. I can hear them, Brother Desmond, saying, it's 2024. What is he talking about? That's so 1955. What do you say to those who offer that that's an outdated mode?
1955, the statistics that you put up when courtship was a process in the black community, we were better and more happily married. We've tried it our way, and our way have brought us nothing but hell, nothing but divorce. You could hardly say Happy Mother's Day in its truest sense, because I believe a great majority of women are not happy as it relates to the maintenance of their affairs by a man.
Yes, sir.
And so if you say that was the 1950s, well, if we have a new method, then show me the evidence that our method has greater efficacy than the courtship process. And I would say to you, the staggering numbers proves that just dating and jumping from house to house and bed to bed is bringing nothing but disappointment and reality shows.
Let's close on this. Let's close with, again, with the topic that you and I discussed on the phone, which I don't want to leave without. We see our sisters who are covering themselves, withholding themselves, studying, learning, focusing, civilizing themselves, educating themselves, improving themselves, and they're trying to find a mate. And we see them, Brother, from coast to coast, putting on events like the one we're here to promote today, and they see the brother participation kind of lagging behind. How does that likely make them feel?
Well, to some degree abandoned, to some degree rejected, because the way that the sisters in the Nation of Islam are taught is that they are the prize. They are the virtuous woman. They are the second self of God. And so if the man is supposed to be the first self of God, then what kind of gods are we? Because Allah says, I would not have cared for you were it not for your prayers. And if care means to trouble oneself, then the idea of the black man being God, had it not been for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that probably would have been far removed from the eyes of the sisters, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been that example.
Yes, sir.
For what a real man looked like. So he has had to bear the brunt of our disbelief until we evolve into what the sisters would want to be. So that's why these events are so important, because we have to drive the men and condition their minds and train our minds and continue to throw at us that marriage is the way. Let me read this in my closing.
Yes, sir.
Minister Farrakhan, in A Torchlight for America, neither male nor female can fulfill their relationships to each other until they are first properly connected to the source of all creation, which is God. This is why the divorce rate is so high, and the dissatisfaction rate in relationships between the sexes is even higher. So we have people who are wedded, but does that mean that we're committed? Because committed, we use commitment with marriage synonymously, but there are many people who have walked down the aisle, but they are not committed and engaged and focused and dedicated to the process of marriage, but they remain on paper. But deep down inside, if you ask and you poll the sisters in particular, they may tell you how unhappy they are. But that can be reversed, because all we have to do is learn the art of communication, and women can help us tremendously if we remove our ego. Because if our mother could help us, the Bible says, leave your mother and cleave to your wife.
Come on.
Which means that mother helps to evolve a man to a certain point. But in Islam, marriage is half of our faith. Then the wife, I wouldn't say quite say take over, but she takes over the affairs of agitating a man to growth, and also being for that solace that he would definitely need in the agitation process and the growth and development, because nothing comes to fruition without pain. And since we have a natural aversion to pain, most of us run from it because we're inclined to pleasure. But if you're born, there's no way of escaping pain. It's an ally of life. It's part of the universe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Student Minister Desmond Muhammad from Muhammad Mosque 15B here in College Park, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. He's with us tonight as our first half guest. And let's close out, Brother Minister Desmond, with this flyer. Dave, put up that flyer. Let's talk about this great event coming here in Atlanta. Can you please walk us through this event, Brother Desmond?
Well, firstly, shout out to Sister Nuseba, regional MGT captain here in the southern region of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, her staff, for putting this event out. Nation of Islam Single Social Summer Series Part 2. Allah's coloring, because we've tried it every other way, but now it's time to come back to God. Come out of her, my people. It's time to come back to Allah's coloring. So this event will provide an opportunity to begin the process where brothers and sisters can meet each other under controlled environments and get an opportunity to learn each other, and hopefully some courtships, some education can come out of this that will bring us closer to the goal of becoming one with Allah. And marriage is certainly that institution. So we're looking forward to such a wonderful event and events to come, because we have to continue to push and push and push the idea of Allah's coloring, which is marriage between a man and a woman.
And as you can see right there at the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, that's occurring right on 721 Highway 138 in Riverdale, Georgia. That's here in the Atlanta area. If you're in the area, don't miss it. Don't miss it. You see the information right there on the screen, and we're going to put a link in the chat where you can register and get more information. Brother Des, we are now over time by at least 7 minutes, but it was worth it because I wanted the people to get that information, and I thank you, dear brother. Would you mind sticking around for the second half where we bring in the mighty marriage keepers? Would you mind sticking around for that?
Not at all. Inviting all single brothers to the singles event.
You're tuning to the Rockwell Radio Show. Come on now. Don't go away. We're up against the break. Stick around because we will be right back.
What up with it, man? You already know what time it is. It's me, Young Kind of Don. I'm up in this thing.
This is Aziz, the kid Kareem, the left giving them seed.
Greetings, everyone. This is Brother Anthony K. Muhammad, also known as A-Tone, the hip-hop historian.
Peace, family. What's going on? It's Brother Jabril, Brother Mustafa, Lordship Productions in the building.
I am your sister, Arian Nicole. Peace, peace, peace. It's your sister, Sue Axel. You're watching the Rockwell Radio Show. You are now tuned in live to the Rockwell Radio Show. Right now, you're listening to Rockwell Radio Show.
Rockwell Radio. If you ain't listening, man, you wasting time. You on all these other stations, you need to tap in. Rockwell Radio.
You know what it is. Watch them.
I'm here with Brother Rockwell, the Rockwell Radio Show.
You ain't in the game, you in the stand. Stop playing, man. Let's go.
When last time you bought a Final Call?
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, man. You see what I'm saying? We always want to stop. I mean, this is what I'm not doing. Yeah, everybody go buy a Final Call tomorrow. Everybody who watched it. The Muslims shouldn't have no papers in their hand tomorrow. Because you know what the Muslims going to do with the money?
True.
They're going to create other Muslims.
True.
You know what the Muslims are going to do? They're going to keep your neighborhood safe. They're going to show your little girl ain't nothing wrong with wearing a long dress. They're going to teach your children they're the original people on earth. So you know what that little $2 going to do. So go and spend that little $2.
True.
That's it.
Assalamu alaikum. This is your brother, Nuri Muhammad. And whenever I'm searching for a source or a platform that I can get some news that I can use, I look forward to and watch and listen to the Rockwell Radio Show. And I hope you would do the same.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is your brother DJ Rockwell, and you're tuned into the Rockwell Radio Show. My guest tonight, for the first half has been student minister Desmond Muhammad, right here in Muhammad Mines 15B in College Park. And we're talking about, do we, brothers, tag somebody. Brothers, do we have a fear of commitment? Is it possible? And Sister Tisha, scoot over, give the brother some room on the couch. Give the brother some room. We're talking about commitment, marriage. Could it be that we are the shook ones?
Scared to death and scared to look, they shook.
How could it be? Not us, Brother Desmond. Now, we're going to move on for the second half. Ooh, if I'm telling you, matter of fact, Dave, let's run the 3 rules one more time. The 3 rules of the Rockwell Radio Show: like and share, tag a married person now. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and turn on your notifications. But you have shows like this, you don't want to miss it. They now are in their 14th year of doing 14 of doing this great service for our nation. The Marriage Keepers, based right here in Atlanta, have for the last 14 years put on a marriage seminar, serving out people from coast to coast, getting them information, inspiration, and what to do, how to keep these marriages together, as marriage is the cement of our nation. I cannot be more proud of them. They have been guests on this show any number of times, and I'm so happy to welcome them back. Please welcome my brother Marcus, and my sister Tisha of the Marriage Keepers. Let's go. Cecelia, I said Tisha. I was showing them the move. I messed up there. Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia, pardon me.
Brother Desmond. Assalamualaikum, family.
Walaikum salam. Sister Tisha, like I just joined the Marriage Keepers. So welcome to the show once again. I invited Brother Minister Desmond to stick around to address the topic. Again, we're talking about this fear, this hesitancy that perhaps some of us have to commit. this fear. Every time you say the word, that's the key word, as you can see. But what I'd like to do is let's start with the subject at hand, and then we're going to evolve into this wonderful, wonderful annual event that you all have been blessing us with now for 14 years. But as I always do, let me please afford you the opportunity to make any introductory comment that you wish to make at this time. Brother Marcus, Sister Cecelia, the floor is yours.
Well, I'd like to begin in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I too bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. And I would like to greet all of you, beloved brothers and sisters, in the nation's greetings of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
And assalamu alaikum as well. And I too bear witness that there's no God but Allah, that Muhammad is indeed his messenger and servant. And we are just truly, truly blessed to know the true and living God, his exalted Christ, and the Messiah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we are indeed, as always, Brother Vaughn, to be on your show.
That's right.
Great. I was enjoying listening to our student minister, Brother Desmond Muhammad. And as we talk about marriage and family, what people are looking at is you're witnessing that knowledge that is being deposited into each and every one of us, and how it is growing us in the mind and striving to live to be the people of God.
it was my thought that although that these are two different events, two completely separate events, it made sense to me to put these on the same day. Because if we don't have a single social that gets people to the altar, we don't have a need for a marriage seminar. So I thought that one fed the other. So having said that, let's jump right into the subject at hand. We're hearing, and I'm gonna start with Brother Marcus. Brother Marcus, we're hearing our sisters, we're hearing their cry. And perhaps Cecelia can bear witness that she's heard some of the sisters say this. Where are the brothers when it comes to these events? They pull out of their pockets to rent venues and blah 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 and put these events together, and they start opening the registration, and they see sister, brother, sister. Brother Marcus, why?
Well, it's very simple, brother. It's a simple word that we have learned that this involves is commitment phobia. That is what the brothers suffer with. Commitment phobia is a generalized fear of commitment, which can include a fear of romantic relationships, deep friendships, or even careers. A lot of us are not committed to anything. That is our problem. It's not just the sisters. It's not just the sisters. It's everything. And in his life, I guarantee if you check, you'll find that he hasn't made a commitment to anything strongly in his life.
Sister Cecelia, if I can ask you to grant us access to Sister Speak just for a moment, and we don't want to get in your class, but I want to ask how sisters are feeling when they see, well, dang, we put on these events, but where the brothers at? What do the sisters feel when they see when they have this experience?
I mean, you mentioned it again when you are striving, and like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has instructed sisters to make Allah sufficient for us. Yes, you want a husband. Yes, you want to be in a courtship with a brother. But if the brothers are not serious enough about themselves, because if you're being instructed that marriage is half of your faith, you hear the minister say that. You hear that, like Brother Desmond said, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. We've heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, brother, without a wife, he didn't say a girlfriend, a living mate. He said, without a wife, you are handicapped. So to me, those are instructions, I would say, because if I'm a Muslim and I'm being told half of my faith is marriage, the minister said it in the article, the sacredness of the institution of marriage. Everyone who's listening to me right now, you can go on your phone, Google the sacredness of the institution of marriage by Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because the trials and tribulations that you as an individual go through to have a personal relationship with your creator are similar trials of marriage to help grow you. Grow you from what? The ignorance that we have been fed and live through and go through every day. We are becoming and in the process of returning back to our original selves. What is our original self? We are the righteous. We are the direct descendants of Almighty God. We're not 10th cousins, 15th cousins, direct. God yourself. God yourself. So when we begin to understand that, then it's like, I need to do what will help me to be in that process. And like you said, if you live in this wicked world where women are naked all day long, whether you listening to the music, watching TV, whatever your mind is fixed on, it's keeping your mind below your belt. And I always ask this question to my brothers. Why do you think the devil keeps your mind below your pants? As long as he can keep your mind down there, he can continue to rule the world because you are the natural God and he knows it. So I have to have you with alcohol, with marijuana, with oversex, with all of this wicked stuff. But when you come into the nation, when you're a good Christian striving to be a man of God, why would you not want a woman of God by your side? Why would you not want a woman who's not shaking what her mama gave her, but she's teaching your children how to pray? She's teaching your children how to love their Black self. She's teaching your children the ways of God. So when we are being taught this and we are living this, and then you look on the other side, you're like, well, what's going on? We go back to what our brother said, what the minister said. Righteous men want righteous women. So if you're not reaching for the women in that class, then it's questionable. What is our mind focused on? Is it the again the naked woman? Because the naked woman, I can look like a god because I can speak that Islam and she's swooning. Oh my God. You speak that language to an MGT, she's gonna it's conversation. She wants to dive deep into that because now you affecting her spiritual and her intellectual. So she wants to talk and discuss the way of God. And so that's what should excite a man of God.
Come on now.
That's what I would think. So again, we have to ask ourselves truly, do we believe that we are the new beginning, that we are the vanguard to the kingdom of God? That's who the Honorable Louis Farrakhan represents. That's who Master Prophet Muhammad came to do. That's who the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the living and exalted Christ, sacrificed to do, to make us bring in the kingdom of God. So once we really understand that, then we should throw this world off and focus on that. But if we looking at all that we see, all we can get into, then that's why that list is so short.
Ladies and gentlemen,
God Almighty.
Welcome to the Rockwell Radio Show, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't come play with this game. Let me come back. I want to reference something Brother Minister Desmond said in the first half. I asked him, and this question is directed at Brother Marcus. I asked him, is trepidation or hesitancy ever justified on the brother's part? Because they might have been in a bad car accident for the first marriage, and they might have jumped out the plane and didn't have their backpack on in the second marriage, and so forth and so on. So is there ever a justifiable hesitancy on behalf of brothers for even signing up for an event?
Well, I mean, you could maybe not come to one event, but 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 events. We have an event and we have not signed up for anything. It's so ridiculous that you would be single as a man for 15 years in the nation of Islam and you haven't signed up for this event. I don't know what's going on with you. What's going on with your mind that you don't see commitment as the way forward in your life? I don't know why you don't see it like that, but I can tell you it's trauma there. It's some trauma there that you need to deal with. You need to get audited. Like Minister Farrakhan asked us to do. If we would have done that, 10 years ago,
come on,
maybe in this condition today, I'm just saying to you that we have to take some responsibility. It's not on the minister. He's done his job. Now you got to do your part as the brother and hear his instruction and get married. That's what he offered you. I got married at 19 years old because I heard something and I knew I wasn't going to get it any other kind of way. So I heard something from the minister at that time, Minister Van Muhammad. He was teaching every week on marriage, family building, responsibility. And it inspired me to get married.
Yes, sir.
So I got married at 19 years old. And now I look up and we are at 32 years of marriage.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, brother. I mean, don't you realize that it doesn't happen? When you see long-standing marriages, it didn't come out of a vacuum. Somebody definitely pushed marriage. All of us need to push marriage to every member of the Nation of Islam. We need to push marriage like we push the papers.
Come on now.
We need to push marriage like we push everything else. We need to get brothers married, but we don't.
Let's speak to that for a minute. I want to talk to both brothers on this one, and right now I can feel it. Again, Big Dave, I can feel it in the comments. They're like, Vaughn, you just gave the sisters a stick to beat the hell out of us with this episode. Vaughn, we ain't down with you no more. Rockwell, we through with you, Rockwell. I'm unsubscribing. So, I can feel it, Dave. I can feel it, brother minister. But here's where I want to shift the thinking on that. Because I don't want to use this as a means to beat up on us. Because it's us. I am us. I'm a part of that us. But what I want to use this as an opportunity to do is make it very, very clear where we as men can see the disadvantaged position that we are as single. There's a lot, and here's where I'm going with this. There seems to be there's a pride, and you know what? I'm single and I'm happy and I'm fine, and can you please, and particularly for brothers, and again, this is to the men, can you please outline, starting with Brother Desmond, the handicap position that we put ourselves in by standing strongly on the idea of single life?
Well, single life and being single is promoted by whom? Allah himself promoted marriage. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad promoted marriage. Why aren't we passionate about marriage? In the study guide, Rising Above Emotions into the Thinking of God, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, he who supplies the reason directs the passion.
Yes, sir.
So if you're interested in a woman, if you flirt with a woman, some say, well, we don't flirt in the Nation of Islam. Okay, when you said that, Assalamu alaikum, a little differently. Okay.
They didn't hear you on. They missed that one, brother.
when we break our legs to walk that same sister to the car, because there's interest there.
Right.
What's the reason? The reason, meaning, what's the sound judgment in our mind as to why we want to engage with that sister? Is it marriage or is it sex? What's the reason? Using our mental senses to come to a judgment, to come to a conclusion. The highest form of reasoning is logic.
Yes, sir.
So logic suggests validity. I want to validate my interest in her because I want to become married to her. Is that the end result that we have in our thought process? Or is it merely carnal? Well, if the highest form of reason is logic, then the highest form of logic is math. This is a mathematical theology. Will I put a ring on it? I look at my finances? Will I look at my spiritual development? Because if men are maintainers, that means there's a degree of spiritual maintenance. There's a degree of intellectual maintenance. Women today are very, very intelligent. They've always been intelligent, but of course, women pre-antebellum and post-antebellum and, around the world wars and the civil wars, they weren't allowed to read and write. But now you have a woman who has been exposed to books now, who you have to engage intellectually.
Yes, sir.
And you can make demands of women that you can inspire. And if you lost the art of inspiration, then we tend to make demands. And we can make demands of women. Our nature can make demands of each other. That's natural. But you can't take and be dictatorial from a woman. She has to give up her affairs and the stewardship of her affairs to us as men. And so what's the reason? Why? I always start with what's the intent?
Important.
What's the intent? The intent is very important. Any question that we bring up on this show, we can go back to the intent being the fulcrum.
Yes, sir.
Of that question, because our intent has to be to become married to our sisters, bar none.
Let me quickly move to Brother Marcus, and let me stop real quick just to announce that we are now at the hour mark. Can I hold you all over just for a few more minutes to get this important information out to our listeners?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Brother Marcus, please.
Now, I wanted to say that all courtship does not lead to marriage, nor should it.
Yes, sir.
Courtship is for you, sister. Courtship is for you, brother, to see what you are doing, what you're getting into. And I can tell you that you as a man got a lot to lose if you don't choose right. It's very important that you learn how to choose a woman for you. Now, there are so many reasons that we have a fear of commitment, and some of them include our past experiences with women. Trauma, difficult breakups, or childhood experiences can lead to a fear of commitment. Having a strong mama and not thinking your wife is going to measure up to your mama. That can be a strong reason. Oh my God. Because we've had some strong mamas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a very strong mama. But I would not allow her to disrespect my wife.
Come on.
I would not allow it. Now, there's also the fear of rejection.
Ooh, a big one. Ooh.
People may worry about being rejected or hurt if they attach themselves to someone. And then there's the fear of abandonment. People may be afraid that their partner will leave them when things get good. See, we're dealing with so much mental instability.
Come on now.
And we have to get that mind right before you enter into the marriage, my brother, because she is not going to allow you to be weak on her.
Listen, y'all.
She's born to find your weaknesses and crush them. That is what the nature of the Black woman is, brother. So I can tell you that you got to find the courage to get married.
That's right.
There's a fear of failure. Also, there's a lack of independence. Mental health conditions.
Yes, sir.
Are real, and they can be a symptom of underlying mental health conditions such as anxiety, social anxiety disorder, avoidant personality disorder, or PTSD.
Yeah. Ooh, come on, bro. So,
It's so real. And I can tell you, as I've been studying this, because there's a lot to getting married. And there's a lot that's going into the marriage. All this stuff that I've just finished reading off to you, it goes into the brother's commitment to the sister.
Yes, sir.
And I just wonder, are we able to get something from these sessions that we're doing? I hope that we are. I hope that we're doing the 14th annual marriage retreat, that inspires us to hang on in there.
Come on now.
But I can tell you, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, because we got so many mental things happening here. All right?
We're gonna come to that, matter of fact. We're going to come to that. Let me just stop to do a quick station ID. You're tuned into the Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. My guest tonight, Student Minister Desmond Muhammad of Muhammad Minds 15B, and the well-known marriage keepers, Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia Muhammad, all known, welcomed guests on this platform tonight. I want to take a moment to again remind everybody to follow the 3 steps, because we're almost out of here. Hit that like and share button, tag a married person, tag a single person, and if you're watching via our YouTube channel, please go ahead, use today to go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notifications, please, and thank you. Help us out, because we want to stay strong on here. My brother Michael A. Muhammad is in the building. This round of applause for you. He says faith is the starting block to unblock this mental condition. Faith without works, Brother Michael says, is dead. Absolute facts. Now, we're talking about, do we have a fear of commitment? I said the word again. So I want to take it. I'm going to share a surprise with y'all. Some of y'all may find this surprising. One of my favorite movies of all time. Nobody's going to believe this. One of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm coming to Sister Cecelia with this question, is the 1999 classic featuring Julia Roberts called Runaway Bride. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me
coincidence.
Don't ask me why. Sister Cecelia, now a lot of brothers right now are saying, Vaughn, you're beating up on us. You beating up on us. We know that's Hollywood. We know that's just a Hollywood story, Runaway Bride. But is it possible, Sister Cecelia, that there are some women out there too that may feel like, y'all go ahead. I'm good at single. Y'all go ahead with that marriage stuff.
Absolutely. I've had sisters tell me that they have reached a point in their life where they'd rather be single. They'd rather not be bothered. They've been married before. They were divorced. And a lot of the relationship issues we have, the number one challenge is self. Our self-improvement to help ourselves deal with the traumas. So if you are a single sister, a runaway bride, she ain't even going to get to that point, because she's not going to accept that courtship because she's not interested, and that's when you talk about rejection, and as you were speaking, brother, about our regional sister, Captain Nusay, but she said, remember, a lot of brothers say, well, she rejected me in the courtship. If the courtship is done properly, the question that the sisters are asked is this question: are you ready for a courtship? She, most of the time, may not know who put in courtship papers for a sister. So if she says, no, she's not ready for courtship, she don't know who you are. Now, if she does, that's something different. But normally, they do not know who's putting in those papers. So, absolutely, because again, our past, our present, and one of the biggest challenges I've had brothers tell me, sister, I have been so emotionally, financially, intellectually hurt by my ex-wife, by my baby's mamas, the trauma that men have faced dealing with child support, child support cases, mothers refusing to let them see. I mean, I have seen brothers come to tears, crying, wanting to see their children and have visitation with their children. And if you are a friend of a man like that, what does that tell you? If you haven't been through that and you see a grown man in tears because he is having to fight with his baby mama or the ex-wife, or it's so much stuff that our relationships are dealing with. A lot of people are at that point where the minister said it. He said, most of you are just selfish. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said it. He said, most of you are just selfish. You want to be by yourself and happy by yourself. I mean, so many people, they're like, I am happy. I don't want to be bothered. People say, I like going to my house and it's quiet. My stuff is staying where I put it. I mean, people just, and they be happy just like that.
And the brother, he goes around and he comes in his house and he says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum, alaikum.
Wait, hold on. Time out. You at home. If she was just talking about you, put a fire emoji in the chat. They're not gonna out themselves like that, bro, Desmond. Sister, they're not gonna out themselves.
You have some who do. I mean, they come to me. I just had a sister a couple of months back talking to me, and she's like, "Sister, I'm being honest." And see, when we, and then it's also if you lose hope, if you get to that point where I'm just happy. I'm happy with me. I love it when people are saying, like, may Allah be pleased with our sister Dr. Ava Muhammad. She said, when you are single, work on yourself. Be the best you can be, so that when it does come back around, it's a whole nother experience because you got rid of your baggage. You're working on your baggage. And most people ask us all the time, well, what's the number one thing in relationship that's a problem? Yourself. You are your own worst enemy, because if you know your deficiencies, your traumas, guess what? The person next to you, the person sleeping with you, they're experiencing all of your trauma. Even if you hide it, guess what? They're called trauma behaviors. You have traumatic behaviors that you have lived with for years due to your trauma. So therefore, why did the minister tell us? Self-improvement is the basis for community development. Who's the worst? Your whole body is your community. That is you. I can't say it enough. And when we work on us, guess what? We're not having the conversations about commitment phobia. We're not having the conversations about fear of this, fear of that. I tell people all the time, either you're going to dip a toe in or you're just going to jump in and just take it all in. And that's what it's about. Live life to the fullest. Stop being fearful and work on you and make a better you, and you will be attracted to a better person.
Right.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you're tuning to the Rockwell Radio Show. Wow. I'm telling y'all.
May I respond to that, Brother Vaughn?
Please, by all means, yes.
Okay, so there's diagnostic. And if you've been diagnosed with a disease process, the natural thing to do is to find out what's the remedy, what's the cure. So I'm not saying that things have not happened to us. The question is, when do we enter into the process to remedy some of the things that have happened to us? And to what degree do we owe part of ourselves to the rehabilitative process? when you get injured, it just can't be passive exercise. At some point, there has to be weight bearing. At some point, we're going to have to put in the work. So let me read what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in Closing the Gap, page 307. He says, when misfortune befalls the believer, the Holy Quran says, Allah is my patron, and to him is my eventual return. What beautiful words. He's my patron, he's my backer, he's my supporter, he's my friend. Well, if my eventual return is to him, what are the events that come in my life that might bring me to the point of return? If I am ugly, over an event in my life that suggests return, then I am not really a true believer in God. If I go through that difficulty with an improper attitude, then it makes manifest a core sickness in myself, as my dear sister said, as an individual. Minister Farrakhan closes with these words, page 307 of Closing the Gap. Whatever your lot is in life, the attitude you take toward the thing that God has permitted in our life that you may have brought about.
Yes, sir.
Or that God brought about or permitted to be brought about. However you look at it, the Holy Quran says, good is from Allah, misfortune is from Allah. It is all from Allah. So these things happen to us, but we have to find a way to remedy them. And that's why the marriage retreat, because retreat suggests away from certain things and being secluded with certain things. You usually retreat in mountains, away from the city life, right? So we're retreating from social media. We're retreating from gossip. We're retreating from negative suggestions about marriage into a safe haven that Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia has provided that can serve as the medium where people can receive words where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in words are light, life, and power.
And power.
We can't lose faith in the healing process, however long that takes. What have we done to help to remedy whatever happened to things happen to us? But are you obligated to stay there? Well, you say, Brother Desmond, you don't know how hard it is. Well, pain is highly subjective. Who feels it knows it. You don't have a monopoly on pain. We all have pain. So two people can go through the same exact surgery. And I walk in the room as a nurse and I say, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? And one patient say, after open heart surgery, it's about a 2. I say, you want some Tylenol? You want some morphine? You want some Demerol? No, I'm good. I'll just watch a little TV. And then the next person, look, man, that 2 milligram wasn't enough.
Screaming in pain.
I need 4 milligrams. I need 10 milligrams. I need an overdose. You said every 2 hours? Call the doctor. I need that every hour. Pain, highly subjective, which means it's a response, a mental response to trauma. And so we have to extricate ourselves from it. And so with God, all things are possible. All things are possible.
Come on.
There's nothing that happened to us that's irredeemable. We have to take in a redeemer spirit and conviction that Allah himself can heal us.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me get a couple of shots off on that one, big brother. We are at the end. And what I want to do, when I've kept you all now 18 minutes over time, thank you. What I want to do is give each of you a moment, let's say 2-3 minutes, to make a pitch to why they should be at these two respective events. Brother Desmond will invite and explain the Atlanta Single Social. And I'm going to give maybe 3 minutes to Brother Marcus and Sister Cecelia to explain and invite people to their 14th annual marriage retreat. Brother Desmond, it's on you.
Well, marriage is the Muslim way. And so the singles retreat is the promotion of marriage. It is where we get indoctrinated into the religious principles of Islam. Marriage is half of our faith. And if you're serious about your faith, you can't be marginal about marriage. If you're serious about your faith and my faith, then we can't take a marginal approach towards these singles retreats. So shout out to our sister captain, Nuseba, regional captain, Sister Cecelia Muhammad, and her staff for putting on such an event. that entices us to the truth. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, in Closing the Gap, page 44, the process of resurrection begins with enticing each other to the truth. And since marriage has been dead in some of our minds, we need resurrecting marriage in our minds. And so we're enticing you to come to the marriage retreat to begin that process of rehabilitation, that we may complement each other in marriage, which is one half of our faith. Be there, brothers. Sign up. Let's not disappoint the sisters.
Big Dave, if you put that flyer one time, Big Dave.
Let's not disappoint our God. Men are the manifestation of God's mind. So we have to be there, because it is marriage that agitates us to growth. Thank
Brothers,
you, Brother Barnes. Thank you,
brother. Thank you. Keep that flyer on, Dave. Put the flyer back. It's August the 17th here in the city of Atlanta. We have put up all the information. Brothers, we need to see their server get shut down. We need to see their server crashed with brothers signing up for this event tonight. Because, brothers, we are not afraid of commitment.
That's right.
So, brother, thank you, Brother Dez. Let's move on to the mighty marriage keepers, Big Dave. And we want to hear them. And I know 3 minutes might not be enough. I know we're over time, but the way they're going to lay this thing out, Brother Marcus, Cecelia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, we just want to invite everyone to the 14th annual marriage retreat. Inshallah, will be at our Muhammad Mosque number 45 in Houston, Texas, with our powerful regional laborers, who we heard from our brother student regional minister last Sunday, Brother Minister Abdul Halim Muhammad. And again, it is designed for us to come together, celebrate marriage, improve our marriage. Every participant is an interactive workshop, and by God's grace of doing it for 14 years, we have couples that come back every year because they learn something to help inspire, energize, empower their marriage. And so, again, it's open to all husband and wife couples. You do not just have to be a member of the Nation of Islam. As long as you are husband and wife, you are welcome to join us. Again, go to our website, www.themarriagekeepers.com. Again, that's www.themarriagekeepers.com to register and learn more about it. Brother Marcus?
Yes, and Minister Halim Muhammad, that was a mistake that we had on the first flyer, and it apparently got away from us. And I wanted to apologize to Minister Halim because
I didn't even notice it until you pointed out just now.
Abdul Hakim, that's not Minister Halim. Okay. So I just wanted to say that
on our website, get the correct one.
The most important thing about this is that you go to our website, www.themarriagekeepers.com. Again, that's www.themarriagekeepers.com. And there you'll find all the details about this particular marriage retreat. This one is named the way it's named for a reason. 14 is the number of transformation. And that's what we are trying to do in your marriage. We're trying to help Minister Farrakhan in a major way to stop divorce in our nation. Yes. And I really want to help him, and many pastors and preachers that are out here trying to help their congregation to stop divorce. We want to stop divorce. And I want you to know that we need your help in order to do it. So please go to the website and you will find all the information that you need. on the website, including the agenda, including all the stuff that we're going to do with you. It's going to be so off the chain. You haven't seen nothing like what we've done. And we're going to be online too. So if you cannot come to Houston, you can enjoy the Code Conference online by simply paying $100. That's how you get to enjoy the conference, and you will have all 4 days of the conference sent to your email, so you'll be able to review every single day with us. So thank you again. May Allah bless you, Brother Vaughn. May He keep you, Brother Dave. Thank y'all for everything
Allahu Akbar.
To help us. May Allah bless you. May Allah keep you.
Allahu Akbar.
Ladies and gentlemen,
DJ
there you
Rockwell.
have it. Once again on the Rockwell Radio Show, we are only here to serve. We are here to serve. Yes, we deal with hip hop. Yes, we deal with the music, but none of that matters if the family ain't there to enjoy it together.
Right.
None of that matters. So may Allah bless the single social here in Atlanta. May Allah bless the marriage retreat in Texas. And none of y'all called me to come and DJ this year. So
thinking of a master plan.
All right.
So maybe next year. So we thank all of you at home for sticking with us this extra now 26 minutes. We're here every Saturday. We'll see y'all next Saturday right here live on the Rockwell Radio Show. Family, we are out of here. Now, if you got past all of that, you might as well keep on rocking with us. So come on, everybody, let's go. Radio show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. Come on, Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. Everybody, Rockwell Radio Show. That means you too, Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. Subscribe now. Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. Come on now, y'all. Yeah. It's a dope episode, man. Come on, man. Top tripping.